Okay, g'day everyone. Just a quick bid here. This is just some footage I took this morning from local ride. It's only 46 k's. We had to get back early, so and it also looked like it was going to rain. So we decided to just have a pace ride. So we just took it in turns, holding the pace. At the minute, obviously, I'm up the front, just holding my watts. So what I do in this sort of situation is, if we want to go around somewhere quick, is I'll just think of a number in my head that I'm comfortable with, and try and hold those watts when I'm at the front. And then obviously when you're on the back, you then obviously get to recover. So my tolerance is what I call it, was between 240 and 260 watts. And as you can see, the power meter's jumping up and down, but it's always sort of around that 240 to 260 mark. And I didn't want to go over that too much because I didn't want to fatigue. And this was only, we're probably at around, I was probably maybe around 75% of what I can do here. So, you know, we weren't killing ourselves, but it was just a nice quick ride, and using the power meter just made it easier. So even when we go into a headwind, you know, you're still just holding the same watts. So, you know, you're not fatiguing. That's the beauty of having a power meter on board. And now Alf's coming round. Now Alf doesn't use a power meter. He goes on his heart rate, and you know, you can use your heart rate as well to pace, as we all know. And let's be honest, heart rate is what has been used for years, and some people have been using the heart rate monitor to pace themselves for so long. That's what they feel comfortable with. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you've got to go out and buy a power meter. And as I've always said, having a power meter isn't going to all of a sudden make you a better rider, so to speak. It will just enable you to pace easier. But to hold your pace line, to get a fast time around on a ride, having your power meter will definitely help you do that, because you just don't fatigue, because you know where your limits are. Now, if my limits, say I had an FTP, my FTP is 246, so say this is an hour and a half ride, in theory I should be able to hold my FTP for about an hour. Okay, so if I wanted to do this whole ride closer to my limit, I would maybe bring my watts down to something like 230 watts if I was on my own. When you're out with another rider or in a group, you can go to your FTP and beyond. You can go, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50% above your FTP when you're in a group ride or when you're with another rider like I'm here with Alf today, because you're sharing the load. You're not doing the whole of the pacemaking on your own. So this is where the power meter comes in handy. So when I was behind Alf just then, I just went into recovery. So I was only kicking over maybe 260 watts, you know, so I can comfortably recover at those sort of watts. So, you know, that is one of the beauties of it. It's exactly what you're doing at that particular time. So if you want to get a faster time, you know, everyone says, you know, average speed means nothing. And look, let's be honest, average speed isn't as important as your average power output on a ride. Okay, your average power is much more important. But having said that, we all still want a fast average speed. You know, that's just life, isn't it? I mean, when you hear on the Tour de France, you hear the commentators always going, well, these guys are averaging 42 k's an hour, and at the end of the stage they'll say, you know, they always bring the stats up, don't they? Well, for this whole stage of 180 kilometres, you know, they average 46.2 kilometres an hour. So we all want that faster average speed. But in order to get that, a power meter will help you, because you're gauging your efforts better, a lot better than what you are when you're relying solely on your heart rate, or if you're going just to your speed or your average speed, or if you're going to cadence alone. You just can't judge it as well as what you can with the power meter, because you can see my watts there. Again, whenever I'm up the front, I'm just sitting on 240 to 260 watts, and it's easy as for me to do that. So you'll see them, they vary, they jump up and down a bit, but that's just because of the different terrain. You know, you might be going up a slight incline, or the terrain might have changed slightly, and it obviously just fluctuates. That's why I always have a bit of a percentage. So I go between, say, 240, I've decided they're between 240 and 260 watts, and I just hold between that range somewhere, and it enables you to get a good steady pace. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that video. Got any questions or comments, post them down below. And now we are about to ride into the coffee shop. Always got to stop and have a coffee at the end of the ride.